and we'll roll the old printing press along. We'll roll the old printing press along. We'll roll the old printing press along, and we'll all hang out in kind. Howdy folks, it's Johan, your favorite little inkblob, back at it today, moving with a little bit more Celeste. Look, we've got the strawberry stamp. I'm so excited. Kakaklo, I have not played the DLC yet. I have not actually purchased it yet. I've been keeping an eye out on it. I have not seen it go on sale. Does not mean that it hasn't. I have just not gotten a notification for it. But I'm keeping an eye out for it because that is something I am eventually interested in. Oh, Robert, you're getting spammed with card game ads. You know, there are certainly worse things to get ads for. But yes, hello, welcome in everyone. Hope things are going well. That's in the background. Yes, have fun. Ooh, we can go backwards. To what end? Ooh, I'm intrigued now. Whoop. Oh, binoculars? Okay, but wait, how do we actually get there? Huh. For the first time, started playing Magic yesterday. Yeah, but you are now in the pipeline. The Twitch it sees. This is true. I mean, that's basically how cookies work, right? Now, so something I will say, Kakaplo, while I have not played the DLC, I have been going out and proselytizing the game. I've gotten a friend who unfortunately has thalassophobia and, you know, so afraid of like oceans and big spaces. Did get them to play. So, out there still enjoying the game, even if I have not gotten more content yet. There we go. Thank you for the hydrate. Hey, welcome in, Ollie. How's it going? Weird seeing 2,599 pounds in a shopping basket? What for? God damn. Oh, for the electric drum kit. I see. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's understandably quite expensive. Cuddling the dog, that is the best. Huzzah. Yeah, no Baba today. I still have not figured out the day of the month that I want to do Baba, but we will figure something out eventually. I am seriously considering, I do not know if it will happen, but I'm seriously considering, bonus stream. Basically, so Monday, Wednesdays, and then like sometimes Saturdays is I think how streams will work at this point. I am heavily considering a maybe Saturday stream, doing Crooked Man. So we will see about that. Halfway through 751 page book today. Big milestone. You're very proud. That is a lot of reading. So hell yeah, that's awesome. No, not Baba on Saturday. Hey. I am glad that will work. Yeah, it was like you said, I'm like, I've done similar stuff, but then when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, it's not exactly that, so I wanted to refresh myself. I admittedly ended up just copy-pasting it because the issue was I was having trouble because I was forgetting to actually like, create an element for it to latch onto because you need to like give it some sort of position in the hierarchy, it seems, but yeah. Very entertaining, glad it's because so many pages. Oh yeah, so that, in that case, it being long is quite the good thing. Man, this does not seem reversible. But it's here, so it feels like it should be. Oh, this feels so strange. Because, like, it's there, so there's gotta be a way to access it. I mean, maybe there's not, but it feels like there's gotta be. Oh yeah, use game mode creative, definitely. Yeah, maybe it's something that I need more tech for, but... Oh, that's evil. I think it is just the binoculars, so we won't worry about it too much. But we know it's there. We're marking it. Aw. Oh, I thought this was a jar. I wanted to, like, smash it and release snow? You need tack. Okay. Okay. Yeah, a conwisted fupa. That sounds... Is it just me, or does that sound like very stereotypical, like... well, not stereotypical, but like taking the like stereotypical British butler that you get in like a schlocky romance, and then just like, oh yes, con-woosted fupa, please, the dishes. Okay, release the ink blobs, yes. Okay. Honestly, I would be really down having the name con-woosted. Like, I would be laughed at, probably relentlessly bullied, but solid name. Oh, can we... Me. Oh, this is probably already hard enough. Also me. But can we make it harder? Okay. No! Nah. No! Like, do you see the vision here? Like, this looks like something where we should be able... We grab there, we... Okay, so... We need to not be grabbing when we jump off, or... No, we need to actually actively be going left. There we go. Crap, but we need to do direct... So we need to go up there, and then we've got one dash to go straight up, and then move over to the side, I think. This is so woefully unimportant, and yet it's there. We must explore. Ah! No. It's like, grab that line. Or right below that line? Ah! Ever tried the Baba level on Celeste? I cannot I am filled with immeasurable sadness. We did it, but there's nothing here. No, you know what? I'm not sad. We did the thing! We did the thing. Look at us. We surmounted a challenge we made just for ourselves. Someone made a Baba-themed level for Celeste. Well, again, like, there's a lot of, I guess, more, like, normal, straightforward Celeste content that I really want to get to first, so... Will I ever? Maybe. Is that going to happen anytime soon? No. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Bum, 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 bum. Oh. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so that's a halfway, so... Bum, 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 bum. No, never mind, I am just very off when I'm trying to do that. I do not have a good rhythm. Oh! That was already... Oh! I did not register that that already had the dust bunny. Alright. Woohoo! You know, I probably need to not use the dash there. Maybe we can make it if we're very brave and go very fast, but I'm not optimistic. Optimistic. It's a puzzle map? That would make sense, being Baba themed. But oh, so question, Robert. You have gotten Magic Arena. Have you played any of the tutorials yet? Got any preferences on colors? What? Not that it like forces you to pick a single color or anything, but perfect level for the non-puzzle game streamer. Exactly. When have I ever played a puzzle game? I'll wait. Woohoo! No! Preference on colors racist, Johan? Wow. Look, man, there is black and white. But there's also, you know, red, green, blue, colorless. You can literally be colorless. Maybe colorless is your preference. Just saying. Wah. Killed the dragon and beat the tutorial guy in an event. Nice! They've rehashed the tutorial so much. I don't know. I think they do eventually give you, color tutorials where you, as Tim correctly identified, can finally choose to be racist towards magic. Wah-wah. No! Funnily enough, Twitch forgot to send you a note this time, but your alt got the email. Ayo! Well, I guess the alts are sometimes useful then. Hey, welcome back in, Jammer. How's it going? Interesting that the alts get the email. Just remember the blue stop signs. Oh, going good. Yay. This is delightful news. Whoa. Ah. So yeah, I think we just need to go through there with a good synchronicity. Nope. Oh, the electric drum kit can arrive Monday? That's awesome. That's a super quick turnaround. Hell yeah. Figure out some of the lingo solutions. Oh, nice. For, what lingo map are you working on? A level is contained within an overworld. Ah, yes. I am doing the B-sides before 9, correct. Most I got into MTG Arena was puzzles where you always get the same hands and have to figure. Oh yeah. They're very similar to the old Scry magazine, which love those. I love when games do that. If you enjoy that kind of thing in general, game that I probably won't play it on stream, but one that I will need to do like a pre-record of, Duelist, gorgeous little like. It's a card game, but sort of blended with chess. It got purchased by Bandai Namco and, in my opinion, horribly mismanaged, and I thought it died like 3-4 years ago. It did, but someone released the source code with permission, and some of the original devs have been working on it as Duelist 2. And there's also a fully carrying off from where it left off. That's I forget what it's called. I didn't like it as much. It was browser based and doesn't have an economy, but I'm super excited that it's back, even if the gameplay is a little different than what I did. But it's got a lot of the fun little like, oh, here's this scenario. How do you win this turn type puzzles? So yeah. So you're reaching not end of fanfic. The fanfic is still being written and the next chapter will come out at some— oh, yes, yes. I have not read much fanfic, but I have heard these problems many times. So, good luck surviving with that. Doing 3B, welcome to the most unusual chapter? Oh, Tim was saying it was certainly fun in heavy air quotes, so I'm, concerned. Yes. Chapter 3 certainly is very different to others, so I do expect something similar with, the B-side also being wonky. Turns it up to 11. Uh-oh. So, good luck. Yay! Thank you. Facebook AI garbage exists in Poland too. Oh god. Oh dear. Was 3C the one, Tim, that had the, like, Mr. Oshiro that took you several hours where you were working on it when I started the stream? Yeah, okay. I figure if doing it, working on finishing it, takes you most of a Johan stream, it's going to take me at least 2 Johan streams. You have a sense of rhythm, Chapter 3 asks incessantly, and the Johan answers, nope. Johan noises are about as close as I get. No! I will do— yes. Again, he's a vampire. I think that makes perfect sense if you want to be his friend. You would only do holy things to him if you wanted to hurt him. Well, you better get one. Yep. You just need to listen to the Phineas and Ferb episode over and over, right? The librarians. Well, I ain't got rhythm. I think I make that joke way too often. Look, full Tim stream plus most of Johan stream, yeah. You have it. It isn't easy, but it makes sense, yeah. No, like, I don't think I have a terrible sense of rhythm. I haven't used it in video games much. If you don't, it feels totally random. For me, it's this like really weird thing of, I know it's not random, and I get it, I just also know that I'm having a rough time with it. And this is like, I remember in music class, like very young, I was typically someone who was actually able to hold the beat without rushing or going too slowly on drums, which was awesome, super useful. But I couldn't jump rope. I think there's just something about like the actual like kinesthetic, the input part. Like if it is a very basic way of keeping rhythm, I can keep rhythm. But if I'm having to sync up the rest of my body to it, I have a lot more issues. Don't know. That's probably just excuses, but that's... I think I can keep a rhythm, I just have a very hard time executing on a rhythm, if that distinction is at all sensical. Whoa. Because like we were kind of able to do it with like the not the B-sides, but the cassette rooms. We are brains in a fleshy or inky husk, so it goes. This is true. Yeah, have you ever tried using telekinesis to make a controller work? It's quite fiddly. No! Oh, I did feel like a bit there of bup, 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 bup. I don't know if that's right, but bup, bup, bup. But because the, like, two on the right are closer together, we need to move a little faster there, whereas I've been taking time to, like, consider the move. Okay. Whoa. Ah, and then there I'm jumping way too far. Whoopsies! You know, I haven't really looked too hard at the background. Is that... What head is mounted on the wall back there? I cannot tell for sure. It kind of looks like... I don't even know what that looks like. Looks like Toriel from Undertale with weird ears. Set rooms. Alternatively, the bump rooms. Exactly! Honestly couldn't tell you. This place escapes me. Too many moving parts to form a cohesive beat. Yeah. Well, it's like I was trying for this, like, this little bit around, but it's like... It's too slow for me to do a beat. I don't know how to describe that, but it's like bop 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 bop. Well, okay, never mind. That is working. It's like I can't. I need something to help maintain the measure that needs to be a little shorter than that, but I can get it on like the up and down. So bop 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 bop. Go immediately from revival and don't stop. Yep. Yee whoop. A quick decision maker I am not, however. Bah. No. The sad. Man, you know what I've had a hankering for content-wise recently? How to Train Your Dragon. Oh, part of it was because I had to shelve, like, a number of them, a number of the books, yesterday, which, like, fair enough. I'm just kind of impressed that they're still being written. But then one of my friends rewatched the first movie. I was like, oh my god, I have really weird nostalgia for that movie in a like love it, hate it kind of way. But no, that's awesome, Carsey. But so several things I need to say about it. Are you friends with your friend? I don't think so. I suspect that this is a different person. Did they watch it through totally legal means Sunday? So, probably. Oh, then maybe. Not 3 comments are all images that say, stop, this post is actual BS. I will say, I was not looking at it that hard. I did not see the arm originally. But, I don't know, I like the idea that, you know, maybe humans just do have bifurcated limbs. Well, there, we've solved it. Not a he. Well, most days not a he. Some days, but... does not watch it super frequently. Clearly Poland is smarter than the other countries. Dun dun dun. Most days not a he? Is your friend you? Yeah. There is certainly some overlap. Wah wah wah. No, it's really funny because I think I've mentioned this before, that pronouns are like whatever. As long as I know someone is referring to me, I'm fine with them. Like there are definitely some days where I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like maybe a little more like cozy femme, but even then it's like but some of my closest friends are gender fluid, and I'm just like, I deeply understand that this is a thing that affects you. We've had some very good conversations about it. It's so confusing to me to care that much to like pick sort of day to day what feels right, but like I try so hard and they're very kind about it. In fairness, I think they also are not that like bothered, so gender is a hack job anyways. Cool, yeah. No, that's literally, I'm just like, my gender is me. Welcome in, Orisk. How's it going? We actually, apparently, talking flippantly about gender identity is how to get further in Celeste, which, I mean, makes sense. Jorb goes good. They start you off putting pieces of paper in the books that you shelve, because they want to make sure that, you know, you understand how to do the basic ordering. And I've been doing it for 3 weeks, and they're already saying, like, we do not need to bother with the strips, you're doing fine. Which I am unsurprised, because as a child, I learned how to shelf read from my mother, and was doing that during, like, the school library times. So, I'm unsurprised, but it's still nice to know that I'm doing a good job. I'm already meeting basic speed requirements. Probably could get a little faster. We're supposed to be able to do a cart in, like, 20 minutes. I typically do them in, like, 25 to 30. But part of that is also, we're not quote-unquote supposed to like take time if we see like a stack of books that's been like taken off the shelf. We're not supposed to like take the time to put them back. We're supposed to put them in the book drop and then reprocess them. But so many times it's like, it's literally from the section right there, so I'm just gonna do it. Which adds a little time. But yeah, like it's going well. I'm feeling pretty happy and proud of the job I'm able to do, although thinking that, yeah, no, RFID systems seem way better than barcode. I had thoughts about your gender, but I'm all right now with how people perceive you. Yeah, no, and that's, yeah, it's like, I don't know. I've gotten a lot better in general about not worrying that much about how others perceive me. So like, most of my concepts of gender are as they pertain to how I perceive myself, and that, like, that's just not a very big part of how I see myself. Other than, like, being nervous sometimes. Where is gender gaseous? Bop, bop, bop. Wah, ba, ba, ba. Just a scam to sell more Celestes. I see. I feel like there are a lot of things that I think people have been exploring more options with labeling in general. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just I am someone who personally does not worry that much about personal labels, so it's like, if it works for people developing a stronger sense of self-concept, that's awesome. I need to develop a stronger sense of self-concept, but labels typically make me feel squicky. Gender is triple X in an inertia kind of way. Gender be moving. Ba, ba, ba. Alrighty. No! Sadness. Okay. Bum. I do remember. So like maybe a little more serious than people necessarily want, but I remember when I was younger, I wasn't like annoyed by people who went by like different gender pronouns than biological sex, but like when I was young, like elementary, middle school, I simply did not get it, because it was like, well, no, these are like directly mapped to each other. And a friend who was a little more tuned into it, and I still think ended up going with cisgendered pronouns, but like didn't, yeah, same, and look where we are now. No, exactly. And it's like I think what really helped me with it, and like this is not a like, oh, this will help everyone, but I do think there are genuinely, I've met other people who have been like spewing vitriol at it, and I'm like, okay, let's have a chat about this. Let's talk about why people are doing this, because I promise you that most people are not doing it because they have some sort of agenda to get into the opposite gender's restroom, or sorry, opposite sex's restroom, and just like the way the person explained it to me, it's, you know, it's a personal thing in the same way as like a nickname was like, oh, well, yeah, like Kid Tim would think current Tim is cringe. Oh no. If it works to define oneself properly as they want to be defined, it does the job. Just doesn't concern me all too much, but I could say of any form of expression. Well, like I think the only thing that I still have with it as like a probably a more frowned upon holdout is like, even on days where I would maybe want to use she, her pronouns, and like friends ask like, oh, pronoun check, which I try and do as like a self-assessment thing and making them a little more comfortable with it. The days where I'm like that, that's not something that I need everyone else to interact with, right? Like that is a friend, that is a personal thing, because it's part of my self-concept. And so it's something where I do think that like, I have been made uncomfortable in the past with people asking me for my pronouns in like a corporate setting, because these are not people I know well enough to want to have that discussion with, right? Current Tim would think current Tim is cringe, fair. But it's like, I don't know, I think there are times where I get a little, the idea that just because some people label themselves and feel particularly strongly about those labels, whether that is cis or non-cis, I am sometimes uncomfortable with the trying to make that something where everyone has to know their self-concept of that. That is also partially because it does not confront me too much, or it does not bother me personally what I label myself, but like the expectation and trying to like make that as sort of a response to the fact that most people rely on cisgendered things. Yeah, I guess it's sort of like, if I'm in a professional context, people don't, I mean, I don't really have any nicknames, but like, people don't need to know or use my nickname because I don't know them well enough for that. And if, like, I know there are people, I think it's sort of, it's one of those things of like, when someone is trans, I very much understand. If someone has a stable concept of gender that does not match their biological sex, I can very much understand, like, yeah, no, like, absolutely. I guess it's like instability of pronouns, and having that be something that is like carefully monitored is like, think it's bedtime. I just want 3. Yeah, good night. Thanks for hanging out. Yes, it's ordered. Huzzah! Yeah, thank you for hanging out, Tim. Get some good rest and feel better tomorrow. I'm not phrasing my thoughts very well. I'm feeling awkward about it. This is Celeste is probably not the best, like, not playing video game we'll talk about is not necessary. Not everyone has thought about their favorite book. I don't care much about it too much, but some do, and that's great for them. No, and that's very much like that's very much like how it works with my self-concept of life. The thing is, I have thought about it a fair bit, and my conclusion was, you know, I don't really have a favorite. But yeah, I don't know, like, I think my big thing is, like, when it comes to, like, corporate settings I've been in, where it's like, oh, what are your pronouns? And, like, being very acutely aware of that, having trainings over, like, how to respect that, I think it is something where, like, if someone's name changes every day, that is something that I'm going to do my best to respect, but unless I'm their close friend, I'm probably not going to be keeping up with it. So, you know, that is something where I still don't know, like, I don't know the best way to handle it to make everyone involved feel good about things, but I will also say most of the gender fluid friends that I have aren't particularly worried about strangers, like, knowing how they're feeling on a particular day. So I wonder if that is something that is primarily just, like, corporate trainings trying really hard to be sensitive in a way that is not really asked for? I don't know. Gender be wonky. Try to respect people in the ways that they wish to be respected. That has to be expected so long as you change what is correct. Yeah, no, exactly. Like, that's kind of what I've seen is, like, most people where it is important are chill. I wish that could make it into formalized training settings, but that's kind of not how formalized training works. But yeah, no, I think as with many things, it's just try to be a good person. Try to understand and respect what is important to others, and admittedly, there are going to be some things that are important to some people that just aren't important to you, and that can be okay. I do not. No. Like, I don't think anyone. Yeah, I do not think there's anyone that knows everything about anything, really. So I feel like they would more appreciate that you're even making. No, that's kind of what. Again, that's in my experience with friends like that. That has been my experience. Check puzzle. We will do so at a point. But hey, welcome in, quote. I don't know. Notifications be wonky. But yeah, no, it's like, I don't know, it's... Most of the horror stories I have heard have been people online, which I suspect are mostly fabricated. Most of my horror stories are, like, schools or jobs that are convinced that they know how to make things work well for people. Just like forms of expression. No, exactly, and that's, I think when people see it as anything other than just a form of expression is when stuff is like, yeah. Gender, fashion choice, name. These are all things that people have different ways that they like to express. And as long as you aren't mean about something, like, if someone's wearing clothes where they're walking around naked, we have a chat about that, right? Like, there's self-expression. There are also things that, hey, maybe we need to have a chat about what is socially acceptable, but, like, within that, there's a lot of things that are totally fine. And I think there are a lot of people that do not appreciate that, and then also sometimes will try to get too up in arms over, but I should be allowed to walk around nude. Well, we've got nudist speech. We've got nudist speeches. I don't know. Society is funky. Society is funky because you've got so many different people with different ideas, and it's so cool that we as humans have figured out how to get along by and large in that, and how hard it is to do that at the scales we're doing it. Like, it's hard enough to work in a small group for, like, a school project. The fact that we're managing on the order of, like, hundreds of millions of people in some cases. I mean, what, China and India both have over 1 billion people, right? And that there's, like, I don't know, like, that's tough to organize that many folks. It's tough enough to organize 4 folks. Sort of accidentally invented a new cipher. Oh, interesting. Okay. I am curious what if it's going to be something that, like, we can see in archetypal form. Oh boy, philosophy about which forms of expression are accepted. No, and that's why I'm sort of deflecting off of that, because, like, that is, no one's going to agree on that, right? And that's kind of the point of why it's like, you know, let it be open, generally speaking, right? Because trying to come up with community norms is tough. That's like, I know that's like one of the big things about, like, pornography and such, right? Is like, well, what can be considered art versus what is considered like exploitative. And like I feel like where the line has been drawn in most places I'm aware of is pretty good. But yeah, like it's really interesting because if you have even 10 million people, right, which is I think a much more like standard population for a country, if you've got 10 million people trying to get them to let it ride so long as it doesn't directly harm people, generally always asterisks, yeah. But yeah, like trying to get 10 million people to agree on something is like but that's as much as I think there are problems, I find it genuinely amazing how well, all things considered, countries have managed that. The fact that we can have all of these things that have so many different opinions, and yet there are still roads in most places that mostly get patched up, again, asterisks. Maybe preference of life over death, maybe. Okay. We've gotten, like, right to the end here, but we have not quite managed to make that full push. Ba, ba, ba. No! Sadness. I think I talked about this a little bit during Hollow Knight, and I think this is kind of a recurrent theme for me, but like, I have, as a kid, given a lot of thought to the big issues, and recognized that most of them are intractably large, and that's why a lot of what I try and do in the modern day is just be nice in your own little world, in your own little sphere of influence, and try and make that place as good as possible, because I cannot manage a large group. Even if I could somehow gain political authority, I don't think I'm the type of person with the disposition to manage that many people. So, you know, I don't think most of us are. But you can try and be nice to the folks around you and make that a little bit better, and that's a much more solvable problem, so that's what I try to work on. Wah-ha! Can't wait for the rain? Yeah. Man, I felt so good with Rain World the other day. We did it. God. But I mean, like, I felt like a warrior. It was so good. We'll hydrate, thank you. Perfect timing, Nobo. A leader I am not. If I can help my little place be better or create something that makes bigger places better, great. No, exactly. Exactly. Just beat room 2. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Just don't put me in charge of a place, yeah. No, that's, back in college, some friends did a, most likely to, type quiz with our friend group, and I found it very funny. I was given, by a majority, both most likely to rule the world and most likely to be the chief advisor of the person who rules the world. Which, I find those to be, I think I'd much prefer the advisor. Saw a comment on YouTube where someone jokingly said his Hello World program was this Hello World Prince. Yes, the best program. Be both at once. Yeah, which you could be, but the thing is, leaders tend to get shot. Advisor out of many, maybe, yeah. No, like, I would much prefer an advisory role because advisors don't tend to be the people that eat the bullets. Like, if nothing else, not to mention, like, you aren't then responsible for the decisions. You can simply provide good information and provide a perspective. And I actually like that for an esoteric programming language, so that you say what you want and then the function in there. Oh, sick! You added a new page to retrograde inverse. Nice. I still have not figured out even the first page that you say is very easy, but that's awesome. If no one here has checked it out, it is in the Johan card, and you can see this link. Go check out Retrograde Inverse. I think it is probably too smart for me. I've been trying to share around to folks, but Quote has made some cool puzzles that I don't I don't know what to do with them. I suspect once one gets solved, so that we can start understanding some of the internal logic, I might find it a little more tractable, but hell yeah. So, highly recommend. So take a quick look at it. Uniformize. Very close to finishing the cat game you showed in a clip in Discord, like 4 levels away? Nice! No need to send a solution. The process for solving this one is described in a post linked in the author notes below. The purpose of this is to give insight into what actions thought. Aha! So that's literally what this is. I see. Okay. Yeah. Then I will probably chew on that a bit. Not necessarily this evening, because I'm still cranking away on some code, but that is lovely, because yeah, that's getting some sort of entry point like that. Put the arguments to a function outside and to the left in the function inside the parameters. Yeah. Arguments first, then what we do with them. Ah! Okay. Okay. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, wait. Okay. Back from comfy bed. Huzzah! I assume that means that you are coming at us live from in the comfy bed. Not went down, laid in your lovely comfy bed. Yes, on the infamous mobile app, yes. I don't know, for a moment I was like, I've gotten nice and comfy in bed. Now I'm gonna get up. Dun dun dun. What? Oh. Okay. No! Sadness. I assume that's meant to be like a painting with the like very ominous house and mountain in the background. But also, man, that would be a lovely window. Okay, we go here, here. So we need to like do the back and forth jump, and then we need to get over to the right side of here. There we go. No! But yes, so something along those lines, so that we're going back and forth. I need to jump faster there, because we're trying to get onto this wall so that we can jump over, go straight up, and grab that crystal. Once we go there, we go right, left, over, yeah. Okay. So we need to... No, because we jump off that wall. Okay, so we can use the dash to get there. I got it, I think. Well, the planning is done. The execution is going to take a while. Just gonna execute Madeline here, I guess. Nope. Okay. I needed to go back to the left side there. Okay. Bump, 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 bump. There we go. Nope. Need to wall jump, redo. Celeste, reset, go. Nope. Not the right angle. Bam, bam. No! Okay. Oh, one brief addendum to the gender conversation that I just came up in my mind as just something I found sort of interesting. I did have a friend who was like very, very anti non-cis pronouns, right? But I was trying to talk to her about it and just like describing some of the feelings that I had, like being very clear to her that like it is not a big deal to me, but like why there are times where I might conceptualize myself as more like femme than masc. And something that I thought was very interesting, I think one of at least for her, what was sort of the big thing that made it really tough for her to understand is she had a number of similar feelings from, masc, or from moving sort of more towards a masc thing. But for her, those didn't conflict with her self-identity as being feminine and a gal. She just sort of wrapped them into like a more tomboyish concept. And it's like, I think that's one of the other things that also sometimes gets forgotten. Is like, people can have the same feelings, but process them in different ways. I don't know, just a little thing that that is not something that I had seen in a lot of like online discourse that I found to be a very interesting thing, and definitely not the source of all disagreement with it, but something where I suspect there are a number of people where their identity is challenged by the concept of using a different label for it. Which, it's like, but again, it's all how we conceive of ourselves. The question marks mean you're passing a string, so if you have a function that takes a list, it might be something like x, y, z, normalize. Okay. Quotation marks mean you're passing. Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. So that the function has the things that we would usually use to denote data type to denote what kind of argument it's taking. Interesting. Back, huzzah! Waha! Why is it unsurprising that we get into like a conversation surrounding gender while playing Celeste? It's also weird because feminine guy so often gets assumed as gay that I gaslit yourself into almost being bi for a while. Well, the thing I will say about that, I am still very much of the opinion that everyone has... This is tongue-in-cheek, but everyone's pan, they just haven't met someone of their non-preferred gender that they're interested in enough yet. But yeah, no, like, there's so much, because gender is a social construct in a lot of ways, or at least how, the perception of it, right? So that we, there's a very big, even if we are breaking free from the labels that have been assigned to us, there's still a tendency to make assumptions about the labels that we're looking at that aren't necessarily correct about how we're trying to use them. Tried being into guys and was like, wait, I'm not gay. No, like, I have had romantic attraction to one guy. So, like, I know that there is some stuff. I've never felt sexual attraction to another man. Wanted to, like, I would 100% cuddle this man in the nude, probably? Yeah, but, like, yeah. Sexuality is mostly probabilistic, yeah. Well, no, it's feelings. Feelings are super nebulous. So it's like, trying to know, you can make statements about how you feel at a time, is generally how I view that. And you can know, people know themselves best, right? And you can know, like, I have tried this a number of times. It's probably not gonna happen. But, there's always that chance of a surprise. But, yeah, that's, to be clear, this is not to, like, make that as, like, an argument, because I know I have seen so many times of, like, straight guys trying to convince lesbians that it's like, well, maybe if you trans... No, again, you need to respect how people do feel about it at the time. But I would like to make the point that things can change. And that when people are very convinced that they are a strong, heterosexual, manly man, I'm not gay. However, I can see why people would be gay. Yeah, no, it's I've heard that. It's funny. I hear that a lot more from like straight gals, of like, I'm not into gals, but she hot, which I was like, I mean, this is fair. There are a lot of, I do think by and large there are more gals that tend to be aesthetically pleasing than guys by a lot of like conventions of aesthetic beauty. Yeah, if I wasn't with Alice, I met a guy I liked, I would be like, oh, cool. Yeah, like, it doesn't have to be, like, a big thing. I'm into the person, but so far only been into women. Yep, pretty much same. Like, again, some of the women I've been into are, like, non-binary, but I have not been into someone who has not been of the female biological sex. Yet. Am I having fun yet? I'm having a good time. We're having some kind of larger scale discussions while I'm bashing my head against the wall. But, like, we're making progress. I mean, sort of. I'm more thinking the variables have a defined type, but the linter wraps the argument portion before the function with the characters around the function name. Okay, reading that back one more time. I mean, sort of. I'm more thinking the variables have a defined type, but the linter wraps the argument portion before the function. Oh, okay, so you still do provide a type, but it just will also show that for, like, convenient reading. Oh, just print the string XYZ. Gotcha. I'm generally into women, but I have thoughts about it being in a relationship with a guy. Maybe not sexual, definitely romantic. Yeah. No, like, there was one guy that I met at college that I'm like, oh, this is a really nice guy. There were a couple of, like, times we went on outings, and I was like, oh, this is really nice. I really enjoy this. And he complimented my pants at one point that they were, like, the first pants I had bought for myself, trying to, like, improve my fashion. I went, I feel like I have butterflies in my stomach. But yeah, once got a bro's kiss on the head. Yeah, that's my first kiss was with a man. Granted, for a joke, and that man is now a woman. But a dance of fire and ice. Yes, I have. I have heard that a number of times. It's the blue and orange one, right? That, like, you swap around. Like, I have heard of the game, but I'm not confident on it being that one, but I think that's what it is. Whoop. The old gender bait and switch. Yep, took them a while, but they got there. Rhythm game, yeah. But isn't that the... Hold up. A B add would be how you add two integers. Oh, okay, so add A and B. Okay, hold up. Hold up. Dance of fire and ice. Okay, yes, that is red. I remembered it as orange, but yes, it's the little twirly one. They added a whole bunch of ridiculous visual effects. Intriguing. Man, I keep doing that. That's so sad. Blah. I need to drop down more, but... Whoa! But yeah, no, that's... I do find it funny that I'm 50-50 on kissing people of a compatible gender and sexuality to me, which is certainly interesting. I am... Again, while I would not necessarily call myself, like, 100% heterosexual, I am... For most intents and purposes, I am. But I am doing a very bad job of it. Yes. Johann the Ink Blob is fantastic because Johann the Ink Blob, how do you gender ink? Good luck trying. And Meathan is just kind of like, meh. Johann is literal gender fluid. This is fair. This is very fair. I'm a straight man, but I'm bad at it. Right? Yes! Yeah, no, it's like... Yeah, it's heterosexual captures most of what needs to happen. Again, like, you know, it's like, what I'm talking about, like, you know, there's a lot of things where it's like, I don't need to get into this with strangers. Technically speaking, you all are strangers, but also we spend hours out of many days together, so it's like, you know, we're chatting about it, we're using it as a conversation piece to explore stuff, right? But yeah, it's like, you know, I can explore all of the astraces. Unless I'm actively trying to date the person, probably don't need to. Even for most people I would probably end up dating, probably don't need to, right? We're also not real, so it's okay. This is true. I saw a post the other day about, like, chat being the ultimate all-inclusive, like, group noun of, like, no matter how big the group is, just call them chat. Like, oh god, yeah. I have caught myself a number of times, even it's like me and one other person, there have been times where I have called them chat, which I find very funny, especially because I don't actually refer to you guys as chat that much on stream. Like, you're individuals within chat, but it's really funny to me. I have also definitely called myself Johann, a number of times off stream because I try really hard to edit it so that you'll note I sometimes refer to myself in the third person. And I have a tendency to do that, so I need to be very careful to make sure I refer to myself as Johan. Chat, is this real? Sir, this is a Wendy's. Yes. Thank you for the hydrate, Robert. Johan's name is Johan, yes. We know each other, but also don't. And that's, I know I've talked about that a number of times. To me, that's almost cooler than, like, us being friends, is the fact that, like, we know so little about each other. We could all be lying through our teeth, but we're still able to, like, get together, chat, hang out, have some interesting discussions, share love of particular content from all over the world. Like, that's insane. Oh no! We're not friends. Well, it's I've talked about this before. Like, friend is a weird word for me. But like, for me, a friend is someone that I would like literally like. I will, if they need me, I am going to drive across a country for them. So it's like I'm very weird when it comes to like, we are viewers, Johan is streamer, sort of, and like, I am viewer, Tim is streamer, right? It's like, we all get to hang out, and it's like, there's probably some form of friend that is, I just need to like, I am not someone who in my like, quote unquote real life, which I always find that funny, I always find that funny to like draw that differentiation of like real life. It's like, this is real life. I'm streaming and that is part of my real life. But like, I tend to form like very close, strong friendships. I have not had like lots of people I casually talk to. Friend implies knowledge about the person which ought not to be put in a public forum. Yeah, I agree, by the way. Oh yeah, no, like I'm not taking this as like a criticism. It's like, oh no, I've said something wrong, I need to fix it. But like, it's just like, genuinely, there is probably some word, and like, you know, there's, you know, always classic of like parasocial. No, again, the exact same way. Oh, like there's probably something that's a little dismissive there, but like, I don't know. I feel like there should be some word for that isn't just like streamer and viewer definitely works because that's just tautologically true, but it feels like there should be some like proper word to describe the two-way relationship that's there, because like with larger streamers and whatnot, it is very like, it is streamer and viewer, and then there's like maybe a couple of names that stand out, but I don't know, but like when it's a small stream, like you are people, like I go, oh, it's this person, you are still individuals, and we have conversations. I remember those different things. I love that you're talking about gender identity. I'm like, no, actually, look at the stupid SLang. Oh no, that's, I will also say, that's part of the fun of stream, is like, we've got a couple of different irons in the fire, right? Like, you know, big concepts, some interesting, I do genuinely love, like, a lot of times we'll be talking about something and Nobu's like, look at this anime. And it's like, this is so good. This gives something where it's like, I need a break from that for a moment. It's like, sure, let's talk about the anime. If you actually wanted to print the contents of the variables hello and world, you would do world print, no quotes. Oh, hello world print, no quotes. Yeah, right. That makes sense. Oh, speaking of, I have not gone around to watching a certain one, because I will say I kind of forgot that I had started Mob Psycho 100 when I said that I didn't have anything that I was really watching, but I will be attempting. Oh, that was so painful. Acquaintances, perhaps, but like even then, like acquaintance is probably the closest analog, right? It's I guess it's kind of similar to like if you work in an office and you've got like your office bestie, a little bit. Something along those lines. I view it more frequently associating in a coffee shop. We are close in specific fields, but not in ones in which we're generally required to be friends. Yeah, no, and that's, yeah, that sort of has that vibe. Yeah, it's, we bump into each other a lot. And like, yeah, you know, sometimes we're like, oh yeah, you know, the kids are doing fine, you know, just put one through college or whatnot. But it's not like, oh hey, you need to know about these big life updates, here's like how to send me a package or whatnot. Like, you know, we're not out here celebrating each other's birthdays as like, oh, this is like a thing. We need to go find things to like maintain the friendship. It's we associate. Associates, maybe. Like, acquaintances, I think, is a good, like, starting point, Swiffer. But I wonder if, like, associates might be even closer, because, like, we are people who associate. And, like, we hang out, but we aren't necessarily, like, there's not, like, a deep platonic bond, necessarily. Lorem ipsum equals my string is how you assign the string lorem ipsum to the identifier my string. Yes. Which, even though it's a little backwards and weird, yes. No, I gotcha. Found out that the fanfic has a main page for Railgun Index fanfics. I have found things that were not in your bingo fanfictions. Scarring things, or just interesting things? Always randomly bump into Johan when the stream notif goes out. Yeah, weird how that happens. Woohoo! Nope. Mistakes made. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's just, it is a very cool thing to me that this exists. Like, this is not something that this is something that is very unique to our time period, I think, of being able to have interactions and relationships like this. Like, that's so cool to me. Woohoo! No! Do I need to save the dash? I don't know how to save the dash there. Or do I just... I wonder if... I think I need to get below the dust bunny. That might be my issue. Is that I'm trying to, like, stay above it because I'm too scared. Yep, I need to get below it. Yep. Seem to need to be at the bottom of the bowl. Yep. There we go. Got an at. Man, that still bothers me. I wish that man, that really I guess because the mid-roll protection just went away. But man, that's so annoying that they still like mandate half an hour of ads per hour. That's blah. Bleh. Find the fanfic with your lesbian chip? Yeah. Dust bunnies are red, so they have determination. True. Came up with a name for a potential SLA like a year ago. It was 3, okay. Just didn't have a concept to actually make one. Maybe this is it. There we go. For this one, remember. No! Hey, welcome in, Tiziel. How's it going? Yes. I do recall that I do recall that they do the refreshing. Wah! Mob Psycho 100 is the best anime ever. I'm enjoying it. How it from Baba is you is going. I'm good. I predict that you will die at least once more during Celeste today. Tiziel is psychic! Whoa! Yeah, why not directly Tiziel? I don't know. This is definitely a fine and not at all facetious question. My stamina is fine? Is this not drain? Okay, I was like, is that just not draining our stamina? Yes, guys, everybody know that the best anime ever is none other than Lesbian Bear Thing. Oh, yes, oh god, it was Lesbian Bear Storm? Yeah. Man, I do need to try that again at some point. It's so weird that I feel like I need to understand it. Which is not really true, but, like, come on. No, Mob Psycho is, I'm definitely enjoying it. It's got I am a sucker for like sort of coming of age type stuff. I really enjoy characters along the lines of Reagan. Like that is, I enjoy the suave con artist. So like I am definitely enjoying a lot about it. I will still say I am very biased in my favorite anime. My favorite anime has not has always been, but ever since I have watched it, I do not know how something could take its place. Girls' Last Door. Fast falling, you know it? I don't know how to fall fast, but bleh. Your bad anime detector is completely broken. Who knows? Maybe I'll even enjoy it if I watch it again. Here's the thing, Nobo. It's bad. Like, it's strange. It's something that it's apparently a really interesting art piece for exploring like Japanese societal norms surrounding like same-sex relationships. But I don't know a whole lot about that. I don't live in Japan, so you know, some of it's kind of lost on me. Hold down while falling? Wait, literally? Oh! Weird. Okay. Huh. I did not know that. Good to know. So it looks like it has a little lag time, but see how we like start zipping? Yeah. Whoa. Okay, good to know. You know what? You know what can help you with solve retrograde inverse? If you watch a video that describes in detail how the early stages of Cicada 3301 were solved. I did watch that a while back, but it has been quite some time, so perhaps I should refresh. I will say, I was not joking, quote, when I said I'm genuinely terrified about the fact that you link a website that does, like, the Enigma cipher solving as probably a handy resource for how a number of your puzzles are solved. Like, oh god. Don't know why it's so hard to figure out. I don't know if it's necessarily that hard to figure out. It's just like, generally speaking, when you're falling in this game, I don't think there's a lot of times where you're really incentivized to go down faster, because typically you're trying to execute something else where you need to be going like to the side or up, so that it's just, I think there's a lot of times where you wouldn't even do that on accident because that's not a desired outcome. And by the time it maybe is in like a level like this, you know, you've kind of gotten used to stuff. Being thin, less air resistance, higher terminal velocity. Exactly. Wasn't just Enigma, it has solvers for a bunch of different ciphers. It just, okay, I did not know. I was looking at that, it showed, I must have looked at the wrong drop-down, because the drop-down I clicked on was just showing different variations on the Enigma one. I was like, oh no. Oh no. Alright, get good rest, Tim. I hope that you feel much better in the morning and get to go to school. At the very least, you don't have to spend as much time worrying about that particular program. More sleep times. Didn't even know Enigma was the default one, or if it had Enigma. Okay. Phew. Phew. Because I was like, I don't know how you're getting... I don't know how we're supposed to get the, like, proper Enigma setup out of any of these. There are plenty of times in which controlling one's velocity is handy, which is why it's so confusing it wasn't tutorialized, especially when it's so simple. I guess, I don't know. I cannot think of a time where I went, man, I really wish that I could fall faster. But I could very easily be wrong. It's almost like I'm spending a lot of time yapping during these things, so I'm not necessarily onboarding as much as I maybe should. Boing. Lived on the moon, that problem would occur more often. This is fair. This is very fair. Bump. Man, we just have so much gravity privilege. Okay. We go here. Not fall faster, but control when you fall at a specific time. That's, yeah, no, that's reasonable. Okay. Nope, man. I'm really off on that one's beat. Bump. Boom. Ah! Oh god. Okay. Oh yeah, we will do that when we catch a natural break, or when we do our switch over to the world of rain. Nor. Want to know what ciphers I like to use? You can fairly easily find that information. It might help. Yes. Getting an idea from other things that you've done, the types of ciphers that you are most fond of, is certainly good info. Because otherwise, it's a little. Are you familiar with the Beale ciphers? B-E-A-L-E. It's some. I think it's like an American thing, like American Western history, but it's something that I've seen on a number of, like, oh, have you heard of this weird thing, videos. But like, right now it feels a little like that, although those ones are probably a hoax and not solvable, whereas I'm fairly confident that yours are not really. Basically, there's a set of 3 ciphers that, allegedly will provide information about where like someone's like stolen money, I think, or it's either stolen money or family inheritance, one of those two. The type of thing that you would see in like a spaghetti western type movie. Where that's buried and whatnot. And of those 3 pages, one was deciphered by someone who found them, not at all suspicious, that describes the contents of it. The, you know, least useful one, and it was found by matching the text to an improperly copied version of the Declaration of Independence. So, yeah, very American, and very, very highly suspicious that it was made by one of the people involved with that as just like a hoax for attention, and probably uses a weird copy of the American Declaration of Independence because they probably had a weird version of that when making the cipher. Yeah, so I don't know, just it's sort of like it's one of those things that trying to figure out what to do with it, it's like, well, what does this person like do? Like, what would they have coded these other things off of if it's like this one weird document? And it's like right now, because I don't feel like I've got a good handle on the types of codes you like to use, I'm just trying to throw some like fairly generic thoughts at solving those puzzles. And while I'm sure I could go find some more examples of what you do, I have not yet gotten around to that. Hey, fare thee well, Carsey. Thanks for hanging out as always. Good to see ya. Go forth, do great things, get good rest. Reeks of numerology adjacent nonsense. Well, I think there's been some frequency analysis on the other ones that it does not look like, even if it's like a replacement cipher, it does not look like it follows natural language, so yeah. Hey, greetings and salutations. How's it going, Aya? I got around to watching Chaos. Wah, wah, wah. We go here. There. Well, okay, sure. No! You're obsessed with the movie? What movie? Bonk. Side note, the introduction page requires no knowledge of any cipher. I'm baffled that hasn't... It's so strange to me, because, like, to me, the most obvious thing is to flip it upside down and backwards. And I'm not getting jack all from that. So it doesn't require knowledge of cipher. Now, part of it, I'm also not super familiar with music theory, so that may be somewhat limiting, but I pointed out to some more musically oriented folks. Heathers? Oh, yeah. That's the... Oh god, it's been a while. I think I've watched that one. It's 3 gals named Heather, right? You'll feel very dumb when you see how to solve it? Okay. I mean, I feel like that happens with a lot of puzzles. Pump. Feel like you know it. Probably. Admittedly, there are a lot of movies that Johan is unfamiliar with. But I think I have. Isn't it? It's basically, it's like 3 kind of cliquey gals in a high school that are all named Heather. Ah! Mistakes were made. Boingy? Okay. 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 Interesting, though, that we can hang out on the very bottom there. Fanfic chapters are getting long, and you're enjoying them, but long? Ah, your brain. Read. Known you for like 6 months, and what I get from you is that you know I seem like a Heather's kind of blob. Yeah, I think I have. Hold up, one moment. Heather's. I think it's the one that ends with like someone blowing up the school, question mark? Heather and Veronica. Okay. Because there's like one kind of, there's one kid that gets like bullied. Yeah! Yeah. Okay, yes. Whose lives is disrupted by the arrival of a misanthrope intent on murdering the popular students and staging their deaths as suicides. Yes, okay. Yeah, I have watched that once. It was good. I know it's one that a lot of people point to as like sort of the classic of the era. Oop. I can get the upper one pretty well. I'm really struggling with the lower one, though. Well, I mean, so the secret here, Nobo, is you just have me send me the fix, and then I read them out and make nice little audiobooks. Was a 10-gallon hat? I believe that's like the classic cowboy hat that you see. I think I've heard it called that. I would assume that it has something to do with like the volume that it can hold, but a gallon's a lot. Because a gallon is the imperial, like, sort of standard unit of volume. So a gallon is sort of equivalent to liters in usage. It's equivalent to liters in usage, but it's a lot bigger, I think. I much prefer liters. I don't know how big a gallon is. I know how big a gallon is in the context of imperial measurement, because that was how I was learning, like, cup to teaspoon measurements, but... So, gallon to liters... Okay, so a gallon is about 4 liters. 10-gallon hat. Well, History.com with an American flag very violently in the image. Why do we call it a 10-gallon hat? So I think I am thinking about the right thing. Popular image of cowboy would not be complete without the wide-brimmed 10-gallon hat. Even the most hardened cattlemen can't agree on how the iconic headgear first got its name. In conventional explanations, that 10-gallon refers to how much liquid could be carried inside the hat. Which, fair enough, but that's not... Yeah, that's not how much it could. Oh, interesting. So... it does not have a definite etymology, but there's also a suggestion that it comes from a Mexican word for like a braided headband, a galón. Southwest often crossed paths with Mexican vaqueros who sported braided hat bands called galons in Spanish on their sombreros. A 10-gallon sombrero was a hat with a large enough crown that could hold 10 hat bands. And then anglicizing it. Yeah, what cowboy hat is carrying 10 gallons of water? Right, no, like, that's a lot. I mean, a gallon... So a gallon is 4 liters, about. So it's like 3.7 something. So that would be about a 37-liter hat. That's... Oh boy, you assume it's water. Well, I mean, whether it's water or another liquid, it's a measure of volume, right? Like, the... whatever the cowboys are carrying... That's a lot of liquid. Anyone else familiar with the lovely, I think it's a Willie Nelson tune? Is it? No, hold up, I should double check it. But the cowboys are secretly, frequently fond of each other. Very good song if you've not heard it. 10 gallons of water or 10 gallons of feathers. Oh no! Cowboys are secretly... Yes, it is Willie Nelson, of course. Cowboys are frequently secretly fond of each other. Very good song. But no, I'd always assumed it was about carrying capacity, even though that was exaggerated, but I had not come across the possible anglicized Mexican word etymology. That's... seems a lot more plausible to me. Does gallon also come from halon? I don't actually know what gallon comes from. Gallon etymology. From Celtic. And then... So... proposed etymology is from... Well, it just says Celtic. Galetum, they think, might have been borrowed by the Romans, and then got ported over into Latin, Galeta, Galetum, and then gallon in Anglo-Norman French, is the proposed etymology there. Oh, I'm trying to remember, there was something the other day that I was realizing I had not thought about, like, what the measurement origins were from, and I can't remember what it was. It was something that I wanted to look up, but, so, I will say, tutoring someone on math, and, like, currently we're working on, like, fractions, right? So this is making me go back a ways in my math education. It's really interesting because it's forcing me to think about things in new ways to try and explain the concept. And I know I've prattled on about this a lot, but it's the number of times where we'll be talking about something, I'll start trying to explain it because I like to provide a, like, here is why this thing is that way. And I'll realize, wait, now I have a question about this. I need to know why this thing is that way. I can't remember for the life of me what it was, which is so frustrating. Boing, 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 boing. Darn. Man, this is gonna suck because we're eventually going to get all of these, and then we're just going to die at the door. Boop. Boing, boing. Nope. I like that my panic kicks in after I take the action, so it's just like, ah yes, no, this is perfectly fine. Oh wait, my actions have consequences. Oh dear. The panic only sets in after there's nothing I can do to change it. Oh man, that's really gonna bother me that I can't remember what the thing was, because we were talking about fractions. We were talking about fractions. We did some stuff about, like, finances. No, I genuinely have no clue what it was. Sadness. What? But yeah, I feel good knowing about 10-gallon hats now, or at least something a little better. Anyone else heard the phrase "the buck stops here"? I heard about it and I didn't know where it came from. Apparently it's, again, another very American saying that was, I think it was Teddy Roosevelt, had, like, on his desk as, like, a reminder of, like, you take ultimate responsibility, right? That's sort of the concept of, well, hey, you can keep passing the buck, which is another phrase, but eventually it's gotta stop somewhere. Another one that doesn't have a concrete etymology, unfortunately. I was looking into this because someone was having to give a seminar on the concept of accountability, and I was like, oh, here's I think, like, a good phrase, good story that you might want to look at for it. And it turns out the most commonly proposed etymology, and this is why I brought it up, is also from cowboys, because during games of poker, for determining who the dealer is, they would often use a buckhorn piece to just sort of like, you hand that to the person, and that notes it's their turn to be dealing, which is not always where you want to be. So people would sometimes, quote unquote, pass the buck to sort of pass on the responsibility of doing the dealing. Which, so basically the buck stops here is you're the one who's taking responsibility for being the dealer, is at least in theory what that etymology is, which, I don't know, interesting little bit. Do you know that Speak of the Devil has a second part, Speak of the Devil and he doth appear? I did not, but considering the context it's used in, that makes a fair bit of sense, because typically that's, you know, I started saying, man, I hope that Tim's sleeping well, and then he pops in, I would say, ah, Speak of the Devil. Which is sort of as opposed to, like, you know, blood is thicker than water, which I'm sure, because that's been all over the internet of like, well, that's actually from blood of, you know, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, so that it actually means like the exact opposite in that context. Tim, wake up! But yeah, like, I don't know, phrases are interesting, etymology is interesting, the origins of measurement systems are interesting. Like, why do we use the measurements that we do, and, you know, what are they derived from? Who makes them? Well, the answer is typically in that case the International Standards Organization, or at least if they aren't making the measurements, they are the ones who are sort of maintaining the definitions. I do find it really funny, big L for Americans and imperial system users, that most imperial units in the official international definition, which is what most scientists use, are now all defined in terms of metric units. Like, the things that are using physical constants are all metric, and then they're just tying imperial units to metric ones. Which I find very funny. Even if I am... Ooh! Oh, we got... Oh, man. That was probably the best setup we've had in a while, and I mucked it. Like, I am someone who is quite partial to, I tend to like Fahrenheit for describing, like, daily temperature. I think is quite nice, because it gives more, like, granularity. Which is kind of similar with, like, when describing, like, the height of something. Which, in fairness, I think centimeters is actually a pretty good alternative, but I have been yelled at by Americans for using centimeters more than I've been yelled at by people who use metric for using feet. So I think feet is about as granular as I can get. I haven't tried decimeters. Decimeters might be another good one, although I'm not sure how many I'm not sure how often that's going to get me blank looks. Boop, boop, boop. I don't know. I like having a greater degree of I like having more I like having more specific or more like granular measurements as an American feet suck. No, this is fair. I mean, like, why do you have 12 inches per foot, and then it's okay, it's 12 inches per foot, 3 feet per yard, 5,280 feet per mile. Refuse to learn how long a foot is. Yeah. Well, it's also, so I believe the official SI definition of an inch at this point is 2.54 centimeters. I have memories of this from physics class doing unit conversions. So a foot would be, God, so 25.4 plus, so 29.4, or wait, so, okay, so 25.4, and then an additional 5.08, so 30.408 centimeters, I think. Well, someone tells me their height in feet, I will demand they tell it to you in centimeters. I think centimeters is a nicer one in general. I've just, yeah. It has not worked well when I've interacted with Americans, which I interact with a fair number of. 30.48. Oh. Yeah, yep. added an extra, made it thousandths rather than hundredths. But yeah, okay. Thank you for the good math fix there. No. But yeah, I mean, like, metric is just, it is a much nicer thing for us being, you know, base 10 creatures. But yeah, like, for temperature, centimeters I think is probably best for like height and measuring things. And then I am very fond of Fahrenheit. That is something that I will hold out on, of just like for day-to-day stuff. 1 meter and 73 centimeters tall. Don't know what that is? Figure it out. Well, I don't know, I feel like it should not bother Imperial users as much, because like you can get like a pretty rough idea even if you don't have like a great concept of it, because like, oh, well, a meter and a yard are pretty similar. So that means that you are, you know, you're in the like 5-foot range. Don't know exactly how tall, so like, you know, because some people get fussy about those specifics. That would words. That would probably matter more, but like you can still get a rough idea. No! I was trying to recharge the dash that I so pointlessly wasted there. 170 centimeters, approximately 68 inches, 5'8". Okay, so closer to 6. And yeah, so like there is definitely some like there's definitely some rounding stuff there. 10 centimeters, approximately 4 inches. That is probably a much better. Well, yeah, and because 2.54, that's a much better estimate than meters to feet. Makes good sense. Bum, bum, bum. But yeah, no, like I think I typically use Fahrenheit to describe like temperatures, unless I'm doing like, you know, if I'm doing science, I will use Celsius. But even for like baking and whatnot, I definitely prefer Fahrenheit. Because, you know, sometimes, I don't know, I guess I typically go by like 25-degree increments, so maybe that is a flawed thing when it comes to like baking and cooking. But don't know. I do think Kelvin is funny. There have been a couple of days where if someone is annoying me, I feel like being cheeky, I'll give like a temperature in Kelvin. Of centimeters is if you measure stuff in centimeters, you get a bigger number. I can't think of anything that people would possibly want to do that with. Pop, pop, pop. Be right back, no worries. I'm trying to remember. Oh god, there was. Yeah, so when I was doing a, so I took physics. I took several courses of physics actually. But when we were doing a unit on momentum, we were, you know, being given a number of problems to do like unit conversions on, because that's 90% of physics classes, it feels like. And we were given a momentum worksheet where we were given some stuff in like, we were given a speed in feet per second, and then the weights in kilograms, or not weights, but the mass in kilograms. And we were told, oh, convert it. And I checked. I went, is there, do we, or I forget exactly how I phrased it, but basically I was asking like, you know, is there a specific direction that conversion needs to go? And the teacher was a little puzzled and went, no, just convert it. So, this poor man was not expecting to receive homework where all of the momentum problems were not calculated in kilogram meters per second, but instead in slug feet per second, slug being one of the imperial units for mass that can get standardly used. They were all correct. I also did it in meters per second and did a conversion. I double checked everything, but I only provided it in slug feet per second, which I don't know if he even actually checked the homework. I think he just sort of gave me a like, yeah. He was a fun guy. I enjoyed him a lot. That was also a, that class was very fun. We, like, the final project, we had to make, trebuchets. So, gravity-powered fling things. As opposed to, like, a catapult, which uses tension, or a torsion machine, which is my favorite, that uses, like, a stored twist in a rope bundle. But on the stipulation there was they had a weight limit, which I went to him and I double checked, do you genuinely mean weight limit or do you mean a mass limit? This is a physics class. And he just sort of, he gave me one of those looks, you know, that like dubious squint of I see something's being plotted, but I'm curious what's going to come out of that. And when it says wait, so I will hold myself to it saying wait. Slug like slug that? Yes. So went to my dad, I went, hey dad, I need to make a trebuchet that has a weight limit. And he went, oh? And I went, so you know the difference between weight and mass, right? And you could see the same gleam in his eye. Trebuchet versus catapult. Torsion machine, I think torsion machine trebuchet catapult is my ranking for siege engines. Woo! Ooh, what? No sadness. So we went out to the dollar store, equivalent, and got a whole bunch. Ballista? Well, ballista are torsion. They use twisted ropes and then you pull back the arms and that's where you get the force from. Ballista are inherently torsion. Which is part of why they're super cool. A lot of my feelings about siege weaponry comes from the fantastic series Pumpkin Chunkin'. I don't know if they still do that. I read that it got canceled because there were legal issues with the state that they were doing it in, because a reporter, I think, ate a chunk of siege engine when it snapped and they were standing too close, but it was still pretty cool while it lasted. The air cannons were definitely, like, some of the most impressive for distance, but, like, I don't know. The torsion machines were the second most powerful and did very cool things. No! Getting a little smarter there. In any case, went out to the dollar store type of thing. And grabbed 7, like, probably like half-meter long balloons. They were like a little longer than the length of my forearm. So probably like 1.5, 2 feet, half a meter, somewhere in there. And filled them with helium. Pumpkin, not pumpkin? Oh, I couldn't remember because I know some of them style it differently. So it's pumpkin chunkin'? Oh, it is. Okay. Hell yeah. As I couldn't remember because I think it must be the off-brand ones that do pumpkin chucking, so that they don't get sued. But yeah, welcome in Impact. How's it going? But yeah, so got a number of these balloons, filled them with helium, and I forget. I think they were each able to hold like 13 grams somewhere in there, but used that for the structure of the trebuchet and a like. Again, it was a chunk of carbon fiber from a fishing rod, so don't know exactly how long, but definitely the longest lever arm of. Oh no! The thing that I said was going to happen, it happened. definitely the longest lever arm that anyone else had, because everyone else was going with the traditional strategy of using balsa wood to make it as light as possible. And then used all of the extra weight. So I think it was a quote-unquote weight limit of 200 grams. I think I was able to put 180 grams into the weight, which was pretty good. Previous record, I think it was, God, so that would be like 3 meters, 10 feet, somewhere in there, and I think I doubled that. So, felt pretty good. Taking a sick day? Nice. I am sorry that you are feeling unwell, but glad that you are getting to actually do something about that. Rest, relax a little. Tim was also sick. Apparently, as Tim was saying, it always feels like when one person has something, everyone has something. Things go around, even internationally. But yeah, so just a little PSA. If you ever end up being a high school physics teacher, keep in mind that weight and mass do mean different things. I never actually reached out to him again. I don't know if my record still stands, if he ended up fixing that or what, but I had a lot of fun going like, wah ha 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 ha. It is always fun to twist expectations. That was one of the few things that I feel really made school, like, tolerable. Was intentionally inventing work or little goals for myself. Got stabbed twice yesterday. Good stabbing, though. Not actually sick. That's good. Getting the vaccine stab is good. Just feeling a little gross. Yeah. No, that's I got double jabbed. God, it was like a month ago at this point? Somewhere in there. But, yeah, I remember streaming that day and being a little like, normally these don't hit me that hard, but for some reason this time, I feel unwell. Yeah. So, recuperate and let your body really on board how to kill those things. And just remember how much better we have it with vaccination over variolation. I will say that is one of the things that makes me laugh a lot about like modern anti-vax stuff. Like, yes, I understand that there are a lot of factors that go into it, but the fact that, you know, in ye olden days when the pox that was small and such were big issues, that there were people who would line up who were excited to get their vein opened up and scabs from an infected person rubbed in them because that was the best hope they had of protection. And it had a pretty reasonable chance of just making them sick, but it was still better than just trying their luck. Like, that's... Maybe it's just me. That's a much bigger ask than having a trained medical professional jab a very thin needle into my arm with a fairly carefully crafted and researched version of that that has a lot more evidence for having good effect with fewer side effects. It just, I don't know, it just kind of like makes me laugh of like, we've got it really good, and yet we've got quite a few people in comparison that complain. There were plenty of people at that time that were not keen on it either. To be fair, there were plenty of, well, we shouldn't, you know, try and fight the wrath of God type thoughts, but like, I don't know. Come on. Mom doesn't take the vaccine because she's immunocompromised, basically gives her the bug, and that's super fair. And that's part of why those of us who aren't immunocompromised should be getting it as much as possible, because we should be trying to minimize the chances of that. There are people who are not fortunate enough to have that as an option. And that is also something I hear the like, oh, you know, it's a personal choice argument. It's like, but there are people who don't have that choice. But yeah, no, that is absolutely a thing. Because yeah, no, it's I don't know, I'm not as familiar with the mRNA ones that I know a lot of the COVID vaccines are. I don't know how that would work, because to the best of my knowledge, they're not actually in any way giving... The disease is not present. Because I believe it is just basically giving part the mRNA that allows you to allows your cells to learn how to do that. In fairness, though, I am recognizing as I am saying this, I have not given that as much thorough research as I probably should. And that is something I should probably fix before I start saying things about it. But from my current loose understanding of it, I would actually be really curious about, is that something that's going to, is that still going to be something that's problematic for immunocompromised folks? We will hydrate, yes. Rain when? Probably another 10-20 minutes. Thank you for the hydrate. Bum, 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 bum. Me clicking the thing and forgetting that I unfocused Celeste. Ayo. But yeah, no, like that's, I think I've talked about it before. I've got family that, words. Paxlovid is not going to work for. So it's like, there are plenty of things where it's like, oh, that makes it easier to not get sick or whatnot, or that's, you know, that's something that can fix it if I do. It does not work for everyone, and unfortunately, very frequently, the things that help you not get sick or manage being sick often don't work as well for the people who probably need it most. Yeah, no. Medical science is very interesting. It is not something that I have ever been, like, super huge on. It's cool, but it's not something that I, like, oh my god, I just need to go straight right. It's not something I've ever, like, majorly nerded out on, but, like, there are some things that I find very funny, when you, like, describe it. Like, chemotherapy, and radiation treatment. Like, we're going to fight cancer by hitting ourselves with a thing that can sometimes cause cancer. Obviously, you know, gross oversimplification, but that feels like a hard sales pitch. We did the thing. Okay. Okay. Hell yeah. Can we get one more room done? Woohoo! I do also remember reading something about, some attempts to use, HIV, basically, deactivated HIV cells as a vector for, basically treating cancer, so that we, reprogram, HIV viruses to attack cancerous growths, which is, again, one of those, like, probably makes good sense, but I know I would probably have a lot of questions and some incredulous statements if someone was pitching that treatment to me. Also remembering Graham from LRR. Again, I've talked about this a number of times. If no one here watches LRR, Loading Ready Run, highly recommend. Very good variety Twitch and YouTube channel. Bunch of lovely Canadian comedians. And Graham, who is one of the co-founders, got cancer last year. And there is this very lovely little bit where he relates sort of the story of that. Which he is, by the way, currently cancer-free, so yay. Seems to be making full recovery. Whoop. But, honestly, I should just link the video, but there was a moment where apparently when the doctors came back with some of the tests, they said, so, good news, it's aggressive. Which was some kind of violent whiplash for him, apparently. I can understand why, but apparently it made it a lot more susceptible to the treatments they had, because it basically, by moving fast, it was more unstable and could take in some of the chemicals better to defeat it. But it was like, yeah, I know that if I got that, it would be like, good news, it's aggressive. I would say, I'm sorry, my ears must not be working. Kill everything, but kill cancer more. Kill cancer before you. Yes. It's a race against time, race to the bottom. Hey, welcome in, Essie. How's it going? It's like an exorcism where you're just trying to You're trying to make your body as inhospitable and see which one breaks first. That is something I have, I did have a brief period of time where I was really interested in exorcism, because I've got a psych degree. I am interested in mental health treatment. Can't dash in this one, wall jumps only. Huh? I mean, we can do we're allowed to dash, it just probably doesn't help us much. But it's allowed. Nope. But, one of the things that I thought was really interesting, at least purportedly I watched a couple of, interviews with, I forget his name, but it was one particular, Vatican exorcist. Past the third set. Oh, yeah. Because I wasn't looking that far ahead, so I wasn't thinking about it. Ate my air? I have air and it's edible? It seems a little rude. I didn't even know I had air to eat. No, I can't breathe. I'm an ink spirit. You assume I need to? Always look over the whole room. Pshaw. You aren't wrong, but... Whoop. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. To the 2 number columns? I do want to hold off on that a little, because you said that there was something to do... I think you said it was the first, inverse retrograde, that there was... that if I could do that one, it would help understand the column one a little better, so... I'm willing to try some other stuff. I don't want to throw in the towel quite yet. See where you can get away with dashing and where you can't. Yep. Always look over the whole room, except when there's binoculars, then you wing everything, yeah. Don't think you said that? Oh, I thought you said that the other day. I might be crazy then. Well then, yes. I do not have many thoughts on the column, so if it is unrelated, go for it. Yeah, no worries. Well, I mean, rain is great for listening to while you fall asleep now, though, right? Rain World, maybe not so much, but Rain, definitely. No. Oop. But yeah, no, it's I do find it amusing how many medical treatments do not sound like things that would probably make things better. And yet, they work. Because yeah, it's like, you know, vaccination and variolation, it's like, we are going to give you the disease you're trying to not get. Would I rather? If you were in a situation where 0 to 10 people would die, the number being either randomly selected or based on the results of a game of skill you play, which would you choose? The game of skill is arbitrary, but you can score 0 to 10 points, and an average of one of your playthroughs will score 5 points. You choose to play the game, 10 minus X people will die, where X is your score. Interesting. So, I think we actually had one of the Neil.Fun trolley problems was kind of similar to this. Well, the score is 0 through 10. So, now, this particular version of it, though, is quite interesting, because, so the game of skill is arbitrary. So it's kind of a confidence question. Well, it's from the perspective of averages. If it's literally a choice between I kill 5 people or I kill a random amount, I'm probably going to choose to kill the 5 people. Because I guess I feel unlucky in a lot of ways. But when it comes to like self-confidence, I might actually take the random amount, because I don't have a great deal of self-confidence in my ability to score higher than average on a skill test of skill. So it's sort of 2 different answers, but like from the average perspective, I would choose the average. From the perspective of it being a game of skill, like if that was an actual like part of the question where we knew that game of skill, I think across most games of skill, I would choose the random one because I think that would still, I think the random distribution would have a better chance of killing fewer people than relying on my skill. Interesting question though. Interesting formulation of that trolley problem. You convert them from hexadecimal to normal strings and stare at the results long enough, you'll see that the strings on the left have some repeating characters, but the strings on the right are all comprised of entirely unique characters. Basically, they were generated using different statistical models of column use choices, right column use samples. Gotcha. Okay. So converting them into that, so we need to look at them separately. And then we would notice that the one on the left had repeats. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, it's the retrograde inverse problem with the square I was looking at. I was like, maybe it's something with like magic squares, or maybe there's something about like, I was wondering if, because there seemed to be a lot of duplicates in it, I was wondering if there was maybe something about like letters that aren't repeated in any given column, but that seemed to fall apart pretty quick. Intriguing. It's a rainy world out there. Yes, indeed. The blue pot. Dun dun dun. Yeah. No, it's really cool that you guys, man. Like, again, like, I'm going to continue doing this even in the reduced capacity. Something I have been thinking about is, like, with a full-time job, it might be something just, a lot of what I really enjoy about streaming is the interaction with you guys and, like, the community. With a full-time job, I will not probably be able to stream during those times, like, whatsoever, unfortunately, which is kind of the downside. I had not thought about that when I started out of streaming at the times that I do. You know, like, it might eventually become something where streaming is a, like, I occasionally do it on weekends thing, but definitely I think pre-records are something that I want to play around with more. And I know that's different, I know that's not something that as many of you guys would stick around for. But if I cannot be streaming to you guys, doing pre-records kind of has a certain appeal to me. Because it's a little more asynchronous. But again, for now, for where I'm at, we are absolutely continuing with this. We still get to hang out, which is so cool. But it's if I were to walk away today, if I were to just quit the internet and whatnot, it is so cool to me that we have gotten the community that we have, and that you guys have made art. That you guys have made art and levels and hung out and had awesome conversations. That's so cool to me. That is a very neat thing that we have created here. So yeah, number columns is basically what an advent of code puzzle input looks like. Oh, interesting. Oh, I was meaning to ask you about that. I remember you mentioned a while back that there's a, like, challenge that gives, like, a coding problem per day for, like, a month. What was that called? Was that Advent of Code? Well, yeah. Yes, okay. Awesome, because I was like, I need to remember what that is. Can you finish March 2? It's taking a long time. Look, man. If I had the code, I'd be willing to lend a hand. They update a page that I hadn't updated in 4 years out of sheer frustration with the adding the extra retrograde inverse. Look, man, I may not be the one to solve it, but definitely I've tried to mention it to some other folks, so hopefully it will get some movement. Hopefully it will get some moving and grooving and shaking. But that said, it does look like March 2 is 3D, which, I have not done a whole lot of 3D stuff. I'm very much a 2D Andy. But we learn and... You need affiliate to make channel points. So yes, channel points are an affiliate thing. However, if that is something that you're interested in doing for yourself and you do not currently have affiliate, I did find some workarounds for it, and I can hit you up with some of those. StreamerBot has ways of doing basically locally hosted ones, and I use StreamerBot for a number of things anyways, so that is something that you can look into. There are a number of solutions that allow for sort of non-Twitch channel point stuff. Hopefully I can get affiliate if some gamers come over from yours or Tim's stream. Hold up. Me suddenly realizing. I wasn't following you. I'm a fake fan. No! You are now followed. Because I was like, I know you've talked about streaming, but I hadn't seen any notifs. I wonder why that might have been. Sadness. Like, ain't no way I created puzzles that are so obtuse I'm the only human being who understands them. Oh, probably not. So here's the thing I will say, quote. Like, part of it, oh, you haven't streamed yet. Well, that also works. You've streamed twice recently and no one knows about that? Well, hey, wha-bam bam. Mwahahaha. It's the self-promo time. Me wanting to actually know when folks are streaming so that I can occasionally drop in. Nice. May I ask what you streamed? But yeah, no, like, and that's that. If anyone has questions, art, that makes a lot of sense. Sick. I do need to try and do some art streams at some point. I know I've talked about that. I did 2 very early on. It's just like I don't know how to draw, nor I'm very confident in it. So it's something where it's like I'm very fragile when I do art, which is not necessarily the best for stream. But at the same time, that's the type of stuff that's probably actually kind of useful to folks who are like interested in learning art, is seeing people who are still struggling a lot. Have to figure out your settings because both times you dropped like 1,000,000 frames. Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of the like I'm not as great with like the technical setup for streaming as much. The actual stream quality things. I think I did like one thing to like, because the quality still seemed fine, but it also dropped my internet usage, so I wasn't having the like, oh hey, I might be exceeding the internet usage I've got per month. But for anything like streaming tools, how some of the weird Twitch stuff works and whatnot, I've been learning it the past couple months, and you know I love talking to people about how stuff works. So if there are questions about how some things do be doing, or if they're like tools that you're interested in, I am always open to getting dropped a DM. Boop. For example, me hearing that Tim is like, oh, Tim wants to do this JavaScript thing for her class. I need to remember how to do this. Bad internet, yeah, that's kind of like, yeah. There's only so much that futzing with stream quality can do. Might have to stream at like 480p, yeah. You know, you can always stuff like that. You know, you can always record at a higher quality. Or actually, are you using OBS, or what are you using for your streaming? Because you could always you can set a higher recording quality for the local recording than the stream one. OBS Studio, yeah. I'm pretty sure, I haven't mucked about with it, but I think you can do different settings for the stream and the recording, so that you can, at the very least, your VODs can be a higher quality, right? So that you can stream and get that interaction, and people are still seeing like the rough aspect of it, and then they want to see the high quality. No, I figured that you do. I figured that you do. I still answer things. This is a problem I've had a number of times where it has often been joked that I mansplained, but I swear it's not mansplaining. I just like to explain things when I know how they work, even if the person probably knows better than I do. But I'm like, yay, I can share the knowledge, because also then, if I'm wrong, I get corrected. And occasionally I do actually have some nugget of wisdom. Okay. I almost said focus on. Focus on. Nope. So if we jump, so we need to catch it pretty high. And then we can drop down, so right as it's swapping over. But then we need to, like, drop down, because I think it's faster to drop down. Okay. But that, yeah, that one I'm taking too much time with that layout because I need to wait a couple of cycles. Blah. So there's gotta be, or I just do it faster and better. Okay, sure. We will be switching over to Rain World here soon, but I'm like, okay, enough yapping, more doing. Wayne World, Wayne's World, Wayne's World, party time, excellent. Was that, what was that from? Was that Bill and Ted? No, because it's Wayne. Why am I, I think the new kit has Bluetooth as well? Oh, sick. Bluetooth electric drums. Intriguing. What do you think old Harold Bluetooth would say now? Man, that's I do think about that sometimes, of like, what would Harold Bluetooth do if he saw the things that bore his bind rune? I'm trying to mic up acoustic again. Oh yeah. Yep. Audio is a fun thing to try and mix, I say with heavy air quotes. But, right, can't do that. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, no. Okay. We'll go another 5 minutes. If we have not done the thing in 5 minutes, at 2:15 stream time, we will just call it. Like, I'd say attempts, but the attempts are super variable here. So excited? That's good. Being able to get something that you actually like, I'm excited for this, I care about this, is so awesome. I am someone who royally sucks at buying things for myself, so I place a great deal of, hell yeah, man, good for you for being able to spend money on yourself. That's so cool. I assume this is going to be helping out with further music and soundtrack making. Just, you know, just a hunch with what you do. Maybe. I don't know. I know that would be like really out of character for Crater of Marsh and its fantastic soundtrack, but sigh. Just best at making electronic music on PC. That's probably fair because you know you get to there's a little more control. Hey, thank you for the follow, David 01C. I'm gonna call you David if that's all right. Thank you for the follow. Glad you are enjoying. Bah. Okay. Bah. We'll get there. Call you Sebastian. Alrighty. Welcome in, Sebastian. Thank you for the follow. Video game music, so it's easier. Interesting. So you feel that video game music is inherently easier? Is it because it's not the focus necessarily of things, or? Yeah, so we're wrapping up a little bit of Celeste here before we do some Rain World, but It's definitely Celeste in the mornings, Rainworld's in the evenings most days right now. Hazarding a wild guess, Sebastian. I assume that you are someone who enjoys Celeste and plays a fair bit? Your new friend, is that Madeline who crush on? Huh? I'm not following. Trying to make an actual commercial album like a band. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot more mastering and such, I'm sure. A girl in the games? Oh yeah, Madeline, yes. I'm still not fully... Ah! Is that a Madeline who crush on? I'm not getting what the crush bit is. Or is Madeline getting crushed? There is an unfortunate amount of Madeline being crushed by the dust bunnies. All right. No, what? We can't dash that early. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. Oh no. So we go. Ah! We drop down. We jump up, but we need to time it better. I had the timing kind of down for a moment, and now it's just left me. So if we need to like drop down to a specific point so that we get like the proper landing high enough up, and then move as soon as it comes off the wall. What's my favorite game? Good question. Been asked this before, and I don't have one answer. I play a lot of Magic the Gathering, and Slay the Spire. I really enjoy, like, card games, deck builders, along those lines. But sort of outside of that, I guess, like, favorite experiential game is probably Night in the Woods. I think that is the game that has done the most to just sort of let me experience a story and enjoy that. How about you? What's your favorite game? Yeah, I also haven't heard of Rhythmic Studios. I've used LMMS for some stuff. Zelda? Fair enough. A particular Zelda game, Quarum, or just the entire franchise? Sonic and Roblox and Fortnite. Gotcha. Just Zelda in general. Okay. I don't think I don't think I've actually played any of those. I've watched some of the Sonic games, but I don't think I've actually played any of them. But nice. I know that Roblox and Fortnite both have a lot going for them these days. You should use Ardor. I've not heard of Ardor. Yeah, LMMS is a little janky, but it's what I've done. It was the sort of first tool I stumbled across, other than there's one called Boska Kiel, which is very limited. For card builders, have you heard of Library of Ruina? No, I have not. Boska Kiel you use for some games? Hey! I'm failing the hell out of this screen. Oh, 100%. That's, we're probably going to wrap up at this point, because it's not happening today. So we'll be switching over to some Rainworld. Hey, thank you for contributing to the Heart Ink Pot. We've got in the Discord. I need to figure out a way to post it so if people don't use the Discord, they can still access it. But we've got a choose your own adventure story for getting Johan lore made. Whew, Blue Pot is like 300 away. New story almost there. Yeah, so we'll call it for today before we switch over to Rainworld. But yeah, Heart Builder visual novel, very long, very hard. Oh, interesting. I'm intrigued. So Library of Ruina. Of Ruina. All right. I have made a search for it so that I will, after stream, remember and have access to it in my search history so I can go find it out. Bum, bum, bum. I believe that is new story unlocked, so I will need to get around to writing that. Hell yeah. So, y'all like the original blue pot. Nice. So that is where I shall remain, which is very funny because I actually had an idea for if I do stream on Saturday, if I do Crooked Man, I've got an idea for an alternate ink pot outfit. But the blue pot stays. Huzzah. All right. The story shall continue. Thank you all very much. Wait, one more. Actually, on the break, I can set that up. Awesome. Made by Project Moon. I feel like I've heard that name, but I don't know off the top of my head. Other stuff they've done. More accurately, becomes very hard. Gotcha. And that's Querum, you were saying more popular a game is the less you want to play it. Interesting. I think what typically attracts me to a game, like in a vacuum outside of stream and recommendations through stream, things that capture my attention with a game are typically it being kind of funky. It's sort of when it's kind of funky and very clearly is trying to convey a message, or trying to go for like a really cool vibe that I'm interested. A game that at some point I need to play. I've been saving it because I think it anyone else like stockpile games or books or movies that's sort of like rainy day things? Like my dad refuses to read Slaughterhouse-5 by Kurt Vonnegut because he knows it's a book he's going to enjoy, so he doesn't want to read it until later so that he's always got something to sort of look forward to in a lot of ways. And like I'm trying to be better about like not saving things into oblivion, but there's a game called Moonring that I stumbled across, and it seems it's like it's got a lot of the like elements of Zork, but with sort of a more sophisticated thing. I'm like, oh, this is gonna hit me so hard with nostalgia. So I've got it. It's sitting there. It's something that at some point I will play. But I started looking at it. I went, this is going to be something that takes a lot of dedication, and that I'm going to love. So I'm saving it as a little treat. Traction makes the previous version of their DAW free whenever it gets an update. Oh, interesting. Okay. Makes no sense to you. Saving something for later because you know you'll like it. Well, it's... For me, specifically with, like, Moonring, it's something where... It's something that I need to be in the right mood for. It's something I'm going to love, but if I just, like, engage with it casually, I'm not going to probably get the experience that I want out of it. So it's something that it's, saving it for later because you're doing something else is more understandable. I think that's more understandable, but I think there are things where it's like, this is something that is going to fill a very specific need or niche. Like, so, Yuru Camp, anime I absolutely love. That is one where I have gotten to a point where I'm a little ridiculous in saving it. Because I watched the season 1, I loved it, it was amazing, I'm saving season 2. I shouldn't be saving season 2, because then I'm never going to friggin' watch it. But it's something that made me feel very comfy and very happy, so I'm like, oh, so I'll save that for when I'm feeling bad. But then I'm going to go, well, am I feeling bad enough? And it's like, that's a ridiculous line. But like Moonring is one where I'm excited for it, I am going to enjoy it, but I need to make sure that I'm not just like, oh, I'll hop on and do this for 15 minutes and then sort of lose the momentum. It's one I'm probably going to need to give myself over to. So I'm like, save it until I can sit down, give it the proper attention it deserves, and really get that good experience out of it. Popularity is not inherently a negative indicator, but sometimes shows that probably won't fulfill some of your niches. Yeah, popular things are often good, just not to your weirder taste. Lingo, for instance, very good, very niche, for good reason. Yeah, no, it's like, popularity... I definitely used to shy away from popular things more, genuinely because I was like, oh, well, if I like popular things, I'm not, I'm just going with the crowd. Pshaw, whatever. Like, cool, don't miss out on stuff just because other people like it, and you want to set yourself apart. But yeah, like, there are definitely, a lot of, like, pop music is not up my alley. It's not because it's bad, it's just a lot of it isn't. I enjoy a lot of music that's doing some more, like, weird storytelling. And that's, You know, so it's a lot of pop music centers on more common experiences. I like the stuff that drills down into some like slightly weirder things that are maybe still like human experience, but very niche ways of putting it. I love I think I've rambled a little bit. I love the Mountain Goats. Love the Mountain Goats. One of my favorite bands. They've got a whole series of songs about the alpha couple as these like recurring characters that are in love and stay married only because they're trying to make the other one break first and give up. They are horrible people. They should not be together. And yet we get to watch them continue on this downward spiral where their jaws are locked around each other's throats. And one of the songs, Alpha Omega, which is sort of there's a couple of like potential quote unquote endings to them. Like it's not a fixed timeline, but Alpha Omega has this lovely little bit about basically the guy wakes up, he gets the note that his wife has left finally, and he focuses in on having boiled peanuts from Cairo, Georgia for breakfast that day. That's what he focuses in on. And I love that. I love that because it does such a weird way, in a very weird way, gets at like emotional numbness when there's some big shift in your life. When sometimes you're just shell-shocked and you focus in on these small unrelated details. I'm like, that's what I love. Sigma solved one of your puzzles? Nice! Hey! Good job getting some eyes on it. Mountain Goats were in your city a month or so ago? Sick! I do not know if I will ever get to see them live. I would love to do that though. That's like, they are, that is part of my bucket list. Mountain Goats are really good. If you enjoy sort of a variety of like indie music that has a lot of lyrics that are referential to other pieces of media so that you can like really dig into it, Mountain Goats are really good. And if you aren't as much into that, go listen to This Year, because that is a mood of an anthem for anyone that struggles at all in life. So if nothing else, go listen to that one. That is an anthem that I think more people need to hear. Don't be a hipster. Be weird. No, yeah. Like I remember seeing some article sort of poking fun at that. There was some paper talking about how all hipsters sort of tend to end up being very similar to each other, and getting sued because the article used a picture of a hipster that basically someone thought was a picture of them, and they thought it was defamatory, but turns out no, it was a legally purchased stock photo of another person who just looked a lot like them. But yeah, you know, it's, I don't think it's inherently negative to not engage with things that are popular. I think there are a lot of people who engage with media because it's popular. I don't think that's a good way to consume things, because then you aren't getting a lot of variety. If something is popular and that allows you to find out about it, and it happens to be something that you are legitimately interested in, go engage with it. Don't be worried about, oh, well, then I'm just blending in. No, because if it's something that you like, you'll get your own read out of it. Engage with things because they interest you. Crazy, right? Yeah, no, 100%. And sometimes engage with stuff because other people are interested in them. I'm not saying to even never do stuff because other people are interested. Because guess what? Small talk, being able to talk about The Walking Dead or whatever, or Game of Thrones, or, you know, whatever is sort of like the thing that everyone is freaking out about, that can help you build other connections with people and lead to other interesting conversations. But again, that's only if you enjoy talking to people in that way, right? But like, you know, engage with stuff, have a reason for why you engage with it. Probably don't have that reason just be because everyone else is, but sometimes even that can be an okay reason if there's a purpose to that. If you're engaging with it because everyone else does, because you want to be able to engage with everyone else. Sigma's asked for an elaborate drawing. Nice. But hey, super glad that one of the puzzles has been solved. I am unsurprised that Sigma's the one to do it. Damn, you're gonna regret doing this thing. Ayo. But no, that's awesome. I'm super glad that that's moving and shaking. But yeah, all right. We will take a 3-minute break, and then I will be back on the flip side, and we will do Yeah, got started late. I was enjoying Tim's stream. Tim's stream good. I think everyone here knows Tim, but if you don't, watch Tim. Tim is great to talk to. If you enjoy some of my weird commentary, you can get some very similar stuff from Tim. Although I think much more like relaxed, chill vibes most of the time. But yeah, so was enjoying that, so it got started late, so probably hour and a half or so of Rain World, somewhere in there. Imagine if they just solve every single one. Yep. Well, that's why I'm like, I want to share around to folks so that hopefully there's a little variety, but I would bet that Sigma's capable. All right, so we'll be taking that 3-minute break, and when we come back, we will be doing some Rain World, see if we can get past this one chunk that we've been doing over and over again. But we are learning to be a proper Slughorn warrior, so that's fun. Alrighty, folks, it's been a blast. We made some progress on Threebee, and had some good chats, but I will be back in a little bit. Oh, right, the typical break thing. So, we will be taking a 3-minute break. This is a fantastic opportunity to remember that you have a corporeal form. Stand up, stretch, grab a snack, grab some water, make sure you're hydrated, make sure your posture's good, all of that good stuff. Look outside, remember there's a lovely day out, be it day or night. If you've got meds and now is an appropriate time to take them, this is a fantastic opportunity to do so. If you've got some other task that you need to get to in your day, now is probably a great time to transition into it, because otherwise, you'll obviously be so entertained that you can't get up. I mean, I do that plenty, so run while you can. Yes, we are still in the Subterra area, where we finally found some ways potentially out of it. But yeah, so we will catch you on the flip side in about 3 minutes with some more Rain World, trying to get out of that subterranean area, or maybe deeper into it. I don't know. But yeah, back in a jiff. Bye.